cracking this thing, back in this thing, like cracking this thing, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe for more of this good content, man. Somebody sent me this video coming from, what is this? Trap Post. Big shout out to Trap Post, man. This is
it's kind of weird.
We finna jump into this content, man. I watched like the first 2 minutes of it, but it seemed pretty interesting. Big love to Trap Post. Make sure you give bro a like, a comment, and subscribe. Make sure you hit up that good news views. I get knowledgeito. You ain't finna get nobody's collegito. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you hit that subscribe button, notification bell, hit all. Stay tapped in for all that. And I need y'all to hit that subscribe button. RichTrapHouse.com. Get this merch. I want to see what bro talking about. Let's get into this content and news you can use. Hit that subscribe button. Let's go.
To be sitting there on a podcast and I got somebody like Wack telling me all about this murder that Big U's gonna get charged with, and I'm just thinking like, how the you know this before it's been announced by the cops? Them drawing more attention to it, could it maybe have caused the feds to hurry up and do the RICO before they might have wanted to?
Here go the problem. Man, the mama been on TikTok, the daddy been on TikTok, the is on the fucking internet.
I haven't seen that.
The mother, the fucking sister, I know because we ran it on Clubhouse.
We ain't cutting no grass. You ain't cutting no grass?
No, we ain't cutting no grass. Listen, man, I don't think y'all know this, bro. If anybody got anything to say about the big homie, cuz I'm on him.
Wack 100 got, we not put on him. He thought this is his town?
That nigga out there got shocked out, ran to the front and jumped off game stage, slid out that officially a bust.
From the jump, we all knew Wack 100 and Big U haven't been on the best of terms, but things took a turn when word started to go around that Wack 100 was a snitch. And if there's something that is unarguably true, Big U's side isn't exactly allegedly letting Wack off the hook this time.
To y'all, when they raided my houses and my property, they was asking about Wack. Wack, loose cannon, 600, and his internet stuff.
Why Big U's goons are hunting for Wack 100. At this point, it's no longer breaking news. Everybody's heard what's been going on between Big U and the Rollin' 60s, especially after that recent sweep where over a dozen of them got picked up on some serious charges.
There's news that broke out that said that Big U was, might have been involved in your son's murder. I mean, do you believe he's responsible?
I know for a fact he's responsible.
We're talking murder, extortion, and the whole criminal buffet.
Music executive and alleged LA gang leader Eugene Henley Jr. is heading to trial. Last month, he was named in a 43-county federal indictment.
And let's be real, even before the feds made their move, the energy between Wack 100, Big U, and the 60s was already toxic. It's been a ticking time bomb for a minute now.
We ain't cutting no grass. You ain't cutting no grass?
No, we ain't cutting no grass. Listen, man, I don't think y'all know this, bro. If anybody got anything to say about the big homie, cuz I'm on him.
If we rewind a bit, the fallout between Big U and Wack started somewhere around 2021, all because of some business dealings that didn't go as planned. Things got so messy that Wack got pressed by the crew. Some even say he got
Pressed by the crew.
Jumped.
Wack 100 got, we not put on him. And thought this is his town?
Out there got shocked out, ran to the front and jumped off game stage and slid out that officially a buster.
And to be fair, Wack did try to fix things the following year, sending out apologies to both Big U and his people, but by then, the ship had sailed. Big U wasn't trying to hear it. Instead, he hit social media to air everything out, and from that moment on, Wack went full-blown gaga. He started throwing out wild accusations left and right, hopping on Clubhouse, doing interviews, talking to anybody with a gripe against Big U, just tearing at his reputation every chance he got.
That Wack had somehow got on the phone with the mother of the victim, and the mother had told Wack that the police or the feds had confided in her.
Here go the problem. Man, the mama been on TikTok, the daddy been on TikTok, the on the fucking internet.
I haven't seen that.
The mother, the sister, I know because we ran it on Clubhouse.
One of the most talked about interviews was the one he did with Adam 22 on No Jumper around 2022 or 2023. And man, the stuff he said in there had people side-eyeing him like he was truly an informant. He was dropping hints that the feds were closing in on Big U, and not long after, the stage was set.
It's kind of weird to be sitting there on a podcast and I got somebody like Wack telling me all about this murder that Big U's gonna get charged with, and I'm just thinking like, how the you know this before it's been announced by the cops? No, them drawing more attention to it, could it maybe have caused the feds to hurry up and do the RICO before they might have wanted to.
But he didn't stop there. He kept the mic hot, even popped up on Vlad TV, throwing out more bombshells, although not everything made it to air. Vlad claimed he didn't want to mess up his relationship with Big U, and that alone had Wack's folks thinking maybe Big U put some pressure on him to keep things quiet.
They swear you being pressured not to say nothing.
Pressure by who?
I don't know. They say, I don't know, bro.
Now, the streets are buzzing again. Word is, Big U and the Rollin' 60s might be gearing up to shut Wack's mouth permanently, and if we're being honest, that theory doesn't sound too far-fetched, especially if it's true that Wack's been feeding the police information this whole time. And there's even talk that he got mentioned in the indictment under some kind of alias. And here's the real deal. If there's one thing people know about Big U, it's that he doesn't just talk. If he says something's going down, it's probably already in motion. So yeah, Wack might be looking at another showdown with the 60s, and this round might hit a whole lot harder. Big U's past infamy and run-in. Some folks think none of the
I always say that's the worst mugshot ever.
talks matter since Big U's already got major legal problems to deal with, but let's not forget who we're talking about. This ain't Big U's first rodeo with the law. Back in the 80s, the guy was sentenced to 22 years for gang-related crimes, although only did 13. And even behind bars, he was still calling shots, moving weight, running things like he never left the streets. No fear, no apologies, just Big U being Big U. To even start making sense of all this, we have to face the fact that Big U is now staring down a murder charge, and that's just the beginning. The whispers are getting louder, and it's not just one name being thrown around. Sure, everyone's already been side-eyeing the connections between Big U and both Rayshawn Williams and Nipsey, but now there's even talk that he might have something to do with PNB Rock's death.
And that PNB Rock situation is all because Loose Cannon, dumb A-double-double, said that they was in the Roscoe's when it happened, and that's not even true. And Loose Cannon's just a big, slow sped student.
F2. And when you really look at the pattern, all these guys had one thing in common. They either disrespected Big U or didn't play by his rules. Involvement in Rayshawn's alleged murder. Let's start with Rayshawn. He wasn't just some random artist. He was signed to Big U's unique music label and was tight with Big U's son, Dayon Henley. Dude was working on a music project with a producer from the label, and Big U himself apparently set up the whole Vegas trip. Airbnb, flights, studio bookings, everything. The mission was clear: 1 track a day, keep it moving. But when Rayshawn landed in Vegas on January 19th, things didn't go as planned. He started skipping sessions and told one of Big U's people he'd catch up by putting in double the work the next day. Instead of doing that, though, on the 20th, he went and recorded an unreleased diss track, one that, according to cops, was aimed right at Big U.
Oh, it just wants the dough. I don't worry about doing all that talking. He's the one to count. So I'm gonna pull up to his crib.
Word of that track got back to Big U, and between that and the wasted time and money, things got tense real quick. Then on January 23rd, just 2 days later, Big U and one of his guys, Sylvester, reportedly drove down to Vegas from LA. They got there around
Sylvester's the dude that's snitching on a Wooty band.
2 a.m. on January 24th. That night, Big U pulled up to the Airbnb where Rayshawn was staying and confronted him about the studio no-shows. Rayshawn told him he didn't have a ride. A friend was there during the convo too, so it wasn't just a one-on-one. Later that night, around 9 p.m., Big U popped up at the studio. Rayshawn came through at around 11 p.m., laid some tracks until midnight, and Big U dipped out not long after, about 12:37 a.m. Then, things got sketchy. That same gray sedan they drove to Vegas had disappeared, and Big U's phone suddenly stopped pinging any location data right around the studio area. At 1:13 a.m., that gray sedan showed up outside Rayshawn's Airbnb on surveillance. Rayshawn came out, suitcase in hand, tossed it in the trunk, hopped in the car, and that was the last time anyone saw him alive. Now keep in mind his Airbnb was booked for another night, and his flight wasn't the next day, so him dipping like that with no heads up was out of character. Both of Big U's phones went dark until 2:15 a.m., and by 2:30 a.m., he was back at the studio, alone, still in the gray sedan, and sweating like he just ran a marathon.
When this alleged murder of the rapper happened that they're blaming Big U for, I guess they're saying that you turned off his phone. You know, like before that he went, and then he turned it back on when he got back to the studio. That's evidence against him as well. That he's doing that.
The feds got so much technology that we don't even know.
When the security guard asked, Big U said he just come from the gym. By 9 a.m. the same morning, Rayshawn's body was found in a ditch off Interstate 15, shot multiple times, then dragged to the spot.
Mr. Henley engaged in a murder of a musician signed to his label in 2020.
This is getting icky. Sheesh. This is getting sticky, icky.
They won and dumped the victim's body in Las Vegas off of the I-15 freeway.
Location data showed Big U left Vegas around 10 a.m. That same morning, Rayshawn's body was found. Now, investigators collected DNA from Rayshawn's ankle, and while the sample didn't give a straight-up match, it didn't clear Big U either. It left the door wide open. And just when you think it couldn't get any sketchier, it did. Within days of the murder, Big U had the studio equipment taken out, and somehow all the surveillance footage that might have caught what really went down, gone. Wiped clean. On top of that, word is he had the security guard step away from his post right around the time everything supposedly went down. Investigators believe that missing footage might have caught an altercation between Big U and Rayshawn on the night of the 24th, but now we'll probably never know for sure what the camera saw. Then on January 27th, just a few days after Rayshawn's death, his aunt reached out and called Big U. She'd just heard the news and wanted answers. Big U told her he hadn't seen or heard from Rayshawn, but here's the twist. She told investigators that Big U used to call her every week like clockwork. After that call, she never heard from him again. And the craziest part? Everyone close to Rayshawn, his family, his friends, even folks in the music circle, they all pointed fingers in the same direction. To them, there's no doubt. They believe Big U was the one who had a hand in it. Oh, and Nipsey Hussle. Then there's Nipsey Hussle. That one still hits hard. Nipsey wasn't just another rapper. He was a real leader. A guy who didn't just talk about building up the community, he actually did it.
The era I grew up in, you kind of had to put your unique ambition to the back. There was a culture around here that was very aggressive. It was real stingy, just the gang culture.
He opened up businesses, created jobs, invested in the people around him, and showed folks what ownership looked like. He wasn't trying to escape the streets, he was trying to change them. What hurts the most about his death is that he was actually working on real solutions. The day before he was killed, he had a meeting lined up with the LAPD and Rock Nation to talk about gang violence and how to bridge the gap between the streets and the system. But that meeting never happened. The next day, tragedy struck, and when it did, the streets started buzzing. Whispers turned to rumors, and rumors turned into bold accusations, and one name kept coming up over and over again: Eugene Big U Henley.
Everybody know Big U and Nipsey had an argument, homie. Everybody know Big U was shaking Nipsey Hussle down, making him pay protection fee, sort of. Nipsey Hussle got smart and said, I don't want to pay you $20,000 a month no more.
Now, this wasn't something that just popped out of nowhere. If you go back to 2011, the tension was already there. That year, something went down near Crenshaw and Slauson involving the LAPD, right after a fight between Nipsey and Big U. Witnesses said it happened in an alley behind the Shell gas station in Hyde Park. Words were exchanged, it got heated, and then it turned physical. Nipsey's brother, Black Sam, pulled a gun, not to shoot, just to fire in the air, maybe to cool.
Rockstar got the mark out of the year, bro. We can never get away from the mark out burger, available at Marathon. Get it when you want to go. You got to pick it up across the street, though. The mark out burger, brought to you by Rockstar 2800, the Smut Free TV. Good mark out burgers.
Things offered clear of the space, but just moments later, a cop showed up, saw the gun, and fired at Black Sam. Missed him, but it sent everything into chaos. That incident was all folks needed to confirm things between Nipsey and Big U were far from cool. And once you throw the drama with the label into the mix, it only got messier. A lot of people still believe that's one of the big reasons Nipsey's debut album got shelved. Rumors started flying like wildfire. Word was Nipsey and Big U had a serious fallout over money. Some said Nipsey felt like Big U was trying to extort him, and he just wasn't with that. Then came the diss track, and from that moment on, the bridge was officially burned.
Busy getting rich, you think I won't stop for you? I built this on my own and everybody knows it's true.
From there, Big U wasn't playing nice. Anytime he got the chance, he applied pressure. There were even stories floating around that he sent people to mess with Nipsey during DJ Khaled's visit to their hood.
This someone being mad about the DJ Khaled video has to be Big U.
Hussle had DJ Khaled in the hood, and Hussle frontline that, and we felt like certain people didn't like that.
eventually Nipsey was shot and killed by Eric Holder, a known Rollin' 60s member.
Eric Holder would have either gotten a lot of prison, probably for the rest of his life, or if he got out, he was going to get a dose of street justice.
And yeah, that kicked off a...
That's crazy when even the news know if you would have got on the streets, nigga, you would have lost your life. Everybody knew it. The news anchor is saying, like, this nigga would have been a rest in peace shirt.
Another wave of talk. Some people started saying Big U might have had more to do with it than anyone thought, even suggesting he could have called the hit.
And even the police too, because nowadays niggas be listening to the social media and all the shit, you know, because when Nip like passed away, automatically Big U did it, or had something to do it, or did this, did it, and just be like social media, the investigator. And now they come to your house like, hey, what's the deal, bro? You know what I'm saying? You did it.
How about PNB Rock? Then we got PNB Rock. Before diving into that, we have to set the scene. See, when it comes to this whole checking in thing, one name that always pops up is Big U. Big U isn't just a leader of the Rollin' 60s. He's also been very vocal about rappers needing to check in when they come to certain cities. He said it publicly multiple times, and he doesn't shy away from what might happen if you don't follow that unspoken rule.
But other dudes do got to, and I'm just gonna keep it 100. Just imagine this though. If another crew pull up in you guys' area and they ain't checked in with none of y'all, you gonna feel some kind of way.
Yeah, 100%.
There are even clips of him giving warnings, some would say thinly veiled threats, about what could go down if folks don't check in.
Anytime you want to do movies in the hood, just check it in. We can make sure it's done. Movies, videos. But if you don't check it in, oh well, check your we're gonna check you in, all right? We're gonna check.
This didn't age well. Did not age well at all.
Get all of your equipment.
And now people are wondering if all those robberies, beatdowns, and tragic deaths tied to rappers who didn't check in might somehow be connected to him.
But they don't really with us until it's a problem. Then they call him. Like Quando Rondo. You can't call me when the fire hot. You didn't with me before that.
When PNB Rock was killed during a robbery in LA, rumors started swirling again. Some even said Big U was allegedly involved, and when Big U was asked about it during an interview, he didn't really shut the whole thing down. Instead, he started talking about how he always checks in when he travels, like basically implying PNB Rock should have done the same.
You know, we in LA, when I go to Chicago, I respect Chicago.
Shout out to Paul P. Nothing to something.
Wholeheartedly, I check in. And I don't think nobody is safe. I know dudes right now from LA who are actual gang members who have been robbed for their jewelry.
Then the Quando Rondo attack. That wasn't the only time either. In one of his interviews, especially that one where he spoke on Quando Rondo, Big U kind of let something slip. He was talking about the whole Lil Durk and Quando Rondo situation and how Quando didn't check in with him before the shooting happened. And in that world, that's a big no-no.
But they don't really with us until it's a problem. Then they call him. Like Quando Rondo. You can't call me when the fire hot. You didn't with me before that.
He low-key hinted he might have known what was going down but didn't step in. And some folks out there are saying, yo, that's Big U basically admitting to extortion on camera, which just adds more fuel to an already blazing fire. Other recent charges. Now that's part of why he's facing all these charges. After years of investigations, the feds say Henley was running a full-on scam operation, allegedly tricking businesses, athletes, donors, and even celebrities like Draymond Green and Shaq into donating to his nonprofit. But instead of the money going to help the community, they say it went straight into his own pockets. And it didn't stop there. Authorities say Henley also pocketed funds from LA Mayor's GRYD program with his nonprofit, Developing Options, pulling in over $2.3 million in 5 years. He wasn't alone either. 18 others were named, including Mark Martin, aka Bear Claw, Sylvester Robinson, aka Vay, and rapper Jermaine Williams, aka Loose Cannon, who allegedly admitted to a dispensary robbery on the No Jumper podcast before the episode mysteriously disappeared after a cease and desist. On top of that, Henley's accused of paying a woman $1,000 to traffic 3 people into Vegas for This is quickly turning into one of the biggest gang crackdowns in years, and before turning himself in, Henley went live on Instagram saying the feds were locking up folks he barely knew. What they gonna say, he asked. You're ruining people's lives. With everything going on, one thing's clear. Wack might have poked a bear that's now fully awake, and if even a fraction of this sticks, it could come back to bite him harder than he ever imagined. No matter how this ends, we're all
It's crazy that everybody can see that Rap Run Hunter is telling on everybody.
watching closely because this is bigger than just beef.
All right, man. We up on it to the next one. That was crazy. Red dots to the left. Y'all know the rest. Free Avenue Angels, please free. We got